Hey guys, my name is Moon and welcome back for more Umineko When They Cry, episode 5. So last time we finished up the main story and did the witch party, the first one. So for the main story, it was pretty good as it kind of showed to us that a butler was the one talking to Natsuhi. He's saying it's useless and then Natsuhi shouted afterwards. And then for the witches party, it was quite simple. Erica being so happy, and they were also talking about the stakes, the 7 stakes of purgatory, how the actual stakes were bought from the US, right, for less than $30 each. And yeah, it was very simple witch party. So let's see what happens here. Hopefully there's something like explosive that we can get from the second one. We'll find out. Let's go. Okay, so where are we? Okay, we're here. With Butler still stabbed like that. Alright, let me just do this before we begin. Max that. Okay. In the cathedral devoid of people, a figure could be seen as still staring up at the heavens. Its chest pierced with a long red sword that pinned it in its place to the ground. That figure was Butler. Ironically, it looked just like what he'd done to Beato with the blue wedges in the fourth game. Butler had died quite some time ago. No, in this place, the concept of death means nothing except that one has stopped thinking. Therefore, in a sense, Butler was not dead. After being defeated in a fight over the truth and surrendering, he no longer had the strength to think of a way to resist. That's what made him dead. Dianor's massive longsword, which had been left in place of a tombstone, fastened Butler to the spot even after his death. Yeah, that big red sword there. Just stabbed him and then he's gone. This was all being lit by a faint light seeping out of an incredibly high skylight. Quiet footsteps rang out across this still cathedral. Okay, Beatrice is here. From the darkness behind a pillar, a woman slowly stepped forward. It was Beatrice. Just like they'd been the whole time in the Golden Land, her eyes had no light in them, and were still muddled over with gray. This person was once unable to even drink black tea to her satisfaction by her own will. But though it was slow and though there was no life in her eyes, she was surprisingly walking. Then, with the slow, deliberate steps, she reached Butler, who was still dead, pierced through. Then, she slowly touched Butler. She tugged on his sleeve. However, Butler showed no reaction. When she realized that it wasn't sleep, but death, the witch with a hopeless gaze let her head hang even lower. Then she quietly whispered,
"Uso
"Oh,
tsuki."
she's actually talking, you liar. Usotsuki. Beato softly touched Butler. Then she pressed her forehead against Butler's chest. I mean, you could say Butler is lying again because she said that, or Butler said that he's gonna stop Beatrice. The way he was just saying it, I mean. But now he's dead and he cannot fulfill that task again. There was no longer any heartbeat. It wasn't just because he had surrendered. It was because the witches had chased him from the game board. So from now on, Butler would never return. So from now on, the Golden Witch Beatrice would have no reason to exist.
ありがとう、嘘つき。さよなら。そして、ごめんね。
But she's disappearing as well. Dude, come on. Do you believe Butler's gone? He's gonna come back. 100%. He always comes back. Then the Golden Witch completed her task and scattered as a spray of gold. In the Golden Land, the gray rain gently continued to fall. There was a faint aroma of good black tea. Beato stared blankly at its surface. There was Virgilia continuing her knitting, along with me and Diana talking to each other. So also this was the earlier scene that we got. This is a recollection from Butler's memory which the honor sword must have given him as it pierced him. A recollection of the time that the honor had come to visit the tea party in the Golden Land. I mean, she didn't really hold back, yeah.
上等だ。相手してやるぜ。全力で来い。
約束します。全力です。
Nianor? I thought she was an emotionless killer doll without a heart. But maybe she's actually is pretty approachable. Though of course neither of us will show any mercy when fighting over the game board. For a while we gazed the rain-drenched rose garden as we quietly enjoyed our tea.
しかし恐ろしいもんだな。お前の戦い方はノックス10回だったっけか？
Oh, maybe we can see it now in the tips, right? Yes. There. Oh, finally we have something. Okay, we'll check it out later. Yeah, we'll check it out later.
ミステリーのお約束ってやつだろ。
The 10 Commandments of Decalogue. Those are classic rules of the mystery genre.
はい。我が父が考案した戒律です。
隠し扉は存在してはならない。ノックス第3条だっけか？だから探偵は隠し扉を探す必要さえないわけだ。
Honestly, I remember back then in episode 1, I keep like mentioning maybe there was a hidden door, maybe there's a hidden this, a hidden that, a hidden passage. But now that we know, yeah, at least we know the rules, so it's not possible.
なかなかの暴論だな。
And then you can come to the conclusion, like for example in episode 1, that yeah, Kinzo must have just been dead the whole time. Because you remember they were talking about Kinzo in episode 1 as well. On how he got out of the room. Berncastle said it herself. She said that because they were forbidden by Nox's third, even searching for hidden doors was a waste of time. I'd like to counter that by saying it probably isn't uncommon for a rich family's mansion to have a hidden door or built into. No. Okay, so hidden door. Is a hidden door different, for example, like a hidden storage? Is that a different? Is that like a big difference? No, for example, for Kinzo's body, right? Where is he? Like we don't know where he is, right? He's probably in a storage, but is it a hidden storage or is it an actual storage? I don't know. So is a hidden storage still counts as a hidden door or a hidden passage? But apparently that sort of rule works perfectly well in the mystery genre. By the way, there exist many wonderful mysteries in which hidden doors appear, and where hidden doors are the theme. Of course, this is limited to novels which have the premise that hidden doors exist. If that premise doesn't exist, hidden doors must not exist. So because that premise doesn't exist, there's no need to search for hidden doors. I think that's probably the essence of her ridiculous argument. It's like the detective trying to expose the truth, and the illusion trying to confuse it with a mixture of truth and lies, are getting blended together, leading to a bizarre form of argument similar to the devil's proof. Making a closed room murder seem to be accomplished by a witch with magic is fantasy. Exposing that it was a human's crime done with tricks is anti-fantasy. Examining all possibilities to expose the nature of those tricks is mystery. But is it also mystery to claim that the possibilities, with no hint supporting them, are unworthy of investigation? Let's say a hidden door is hidden in a way that there would be no clues. Would claiming that a hidden door therefore exist, even though a detective couldn't find it, be anti-mystery? And that's enough of that. This argument is too far of a digression from the riddles I'm actually supposed to be solving. True, yes. My fight is very simple. I'm only fighting to explain how it is possible for a human to carry out these crimes that were supposedly carried out by a witch. The whole discussion about mystery and anti doesn't serve any purpose. That's why I didn't have any particular interest regarding these rules known as the Nox Decalogue. But yeah, you gotta follow those as well though. As you tell your theories or speculations, you gotta follow what these rules are so you're not wasting your time.
ノクスはお嫌いですか？
苦手だな。隠し扉の存在を調べもせずに全否定可能なんて。悪魔の証明並みにうさんくせえな。ファンタジーの対極のはずなのに、なぜか同じ論法になっちまってる気がするぜ。言い過ぎた。お前の親父が作ったんだもんな。
お気になさらずに。戯れに過ぎないとおっしゃる方もいらっしゃいますので。
バトラ君には実戒はかなり傲慢なものに感じられるのでしょう。
正直なところを言えばな。隠し扉は存在してはいけないから調べる必要さえないなんて。頭のネジが落ちてないかどうか一緒に床を探してやるところだぜ。
ではバトラー、その第3条をなかったことにしましょう。そうなったら密室ミステリーはどうなるでしょうか。
What if Nox's third, hidden doors are forbidden, didn't exist?
つまり密室トリックのオチに隠し扉が OK になるってことか。
手がかりや伏線のある隠し扉ではありません。隠しなのですから無論探偵にも発見できない隠し扉です。
Okay, this does not refer to hidden doors with hints or foreshadowing. It refers only to doors that even the detective cannot find because of course they are hidden.
バトラ君はよく悪魔の証明により発見できない X の存在を仮定して戦いますね。つまりはそういうことですよ。
最悪だな。密室ミステリーが読み物として破綻しちまう。
And if it were no longer anyone's time, or worth anyone's time, it would cease to exist. No one would want to try solving the riddle from the beginning, not if they knew the answer might just be an unforeseeable hidden door.
せめて隠し扉はありませんと保証してもらってからじゃないと推理する気も起きない。なるほど。ノックス第3条は必要だな。それがなけりゃ密室ミステリーは読み物にもなりゃしねえ。
推理する気も起きないとはつまりどういうことですか。
つまり読む気もしねえってことだな。
そういうことです。人間は推理可能だという保証を得なければ思考さえできないか弱い生き物なのです。
推理可能、すなわち頑張れば解けますよという励ましが必要なのです。
That might be true. It's the same with exercising. If you're told to run around the campus 10 times, you can tough it out. However, if you don't know how many times you're supposed to run around it, You'd probably get tired before you made it around 3 times. I mean, I guess, right? Yes. If someone told me 10 times, and then, yeah, I'll probably push through. But if I don't know, you'll probably stop before you even reach 10 times. The same thing goes for thinking and reasoning. Humans view a problem differently, depending on whether or not it's guaranteed to be solvable.
推理小説で探偵が犯人が分かったと宣言するシーンがあるでしょ。
What is that? There's always a scene where the detective announces that he's discovered who the culprit is.
あれはつまりそこまでの文章で手がかりは全て記したから。
And usually it's near the end, right? I've got it. I know who the culprit is. And then proceeds to explain everything from the beginning.
読者諸君、どうぞ推理をしてくださいという合図なのですよ。
へえ、単なるお約束のセリフかと思ってたが、そんな意味があったんだな。
意地悪に言うと、探偵がそう宣言しない限り、どんなにミステリーを愛する推理自慢の読者であっても、推理をする気力は生じないということです。
過去のゲームにおけるあなたもそうではありませんでしたか？
Wait, what did she say? To put it harshly, until the detective says that, readers won't feel like trying to solve it no matter how much they love solving mysteries. Now that I hear it, maybe that really was the case. Maybe my fight against Beato really began in the second game. At first, I didn't seriously try to tackle the closed room riddles Beato threw at me, I guess in the first game. After all, I knew nothing except that people had died in a closed room and the windows and doors were all locked from the inside. I mean, seriously, talk about having no hints to go on. So I refused to argue on the grounds that I couldn't fight, because the lack of clues made reasoning impossible. After that, didn't Beato sneer at me, asking whether I'd repeat that over and over in an endless repetition of moves. At that time, Beato said this.
貴様ら無能どもがいつも嘆いてみせる思考停止の理由、情報不足。そして、それに対し情報を与えると、今度はその情報の真偽を疑う根拠否定。便利よな。無能を棚上げする、実に小気味よい言葉よ。
Then she said she'd give me certain information that couldn't be denied, and created a rule called the Red Truth. Once we reached that point, the curtain finally rose in my battle with Beato.
俺はベアトに、この物語は挑めば解けるという保証をもらって、初めて同じ土俵に上がったというわけか。
ベアトリーチェ、不思議な方です。謎こそが魔女の住まう狭間なのに、自らその謎を暴くことのできる赤き真実をあなたに与え始めたのですね。
And because she wants it to be solved though. I think whenever we see scenes that has like words within it, like the endings, right? I think Beatrice herself, the one behind this, I mean, wants this to be solved. Wants us to find out who she is, wants Butler to find her and, let's say, stop her. Yes. You could say the Red Truth is a hint that Beato gives me so that I can compete in this war of reasoning. Like candy, because I've given hints, or I've been given hints. It's like she's saying, try and solve it, or it can be solved. An enigma that guaranteed to be solvable can't be called a true enigma.
これではまるでベアト自身が自分で認めてるようなものじゃないか。
おやおや、確かにそうなりますね。本当におかしな子です。
Beata gave no answer. With gray eyes, she did nothing but blankly gaze at the steam rising from her black tea.
我が父は思考する力に杖を与えるために実戒を生み出したのです。決して 物事を傲慢に決めつけるためではありません。
Honestly, when the honor is like this, I like the honor. Like when they're just talking, yeah, very calmly. This in this scene and then the scene last time, right? They were talking the Golden Land as well. It's pretty nice hearing her. But when she's in battle, like yeah, in the what do you call that again? Court of Illusions. She can feel like a bad guy there. But when we're talking like this, she's okay. It's nice. It's fine. Unlike Erica though, I think Erica's just annoying. Yeah. No matter if the scene is just normal or not, Erica is kind of annoying. But she does try to solve what is happening though. Yes. So that's I think the good part that I like about Erica is that she tries to solve what's happening, but sometimes I think, yeah, sometimes it can be false though. That's the problem. Just like with the Natsuhi one.
思考する力に杖。
そうです。ノックス第8条、提示されない手がかりでの解決を禁ず。これは手がかりなしに当て推理で推理をしてはいけないという意味だけではありません。
It is forbidden for the case to be resolved with the clues that are not presented. So you cannot really speculate. You need to actually find them to resolve the case. So for example, you cannot just say this, like let's say there are 4 numbers, you got the third one. You got three numbers. The fourth one you can't just speculate. You need to find out what it is. Yes. Forced to avoid making theories that are not supported by clues.
逆に言えば、出題者は解決のための手がかりを必ず提示しなければならないということです。
つまり実戒に従うなら全ての謎には必ずヒントがあり、よって必ず解決は可能だと保証されていることになるわけか。
I see. So this is what they mean by a crutch for the power of thinking. If you can believe that it's solvable, you start wanting to have a go at those riddles. If you're capable of believing that hints do exist, you get fired up about rereading the story to search for them.
確かに推理しようとする人間にとって勇気を与える力はあるかもしれないな。
ノックス実戒はミステリーの出題者に課す制限と思われがちですが、読み手にとっても大切なものなのです。実戒を杖とすることで、私たちは推理する勇気と必ず隠されているに違いない手がかりを求めて、
We are given the courage needed to use reasoning.
何度も物語を読み返す気力を授かるのです。
硬くて開かないジャム瓶の蓋みたいだな。母さんがよく言ってたぜ。開かないと思ってるといくら頑張っても開かないって。スポーツにもそういうのあるよな。必ず自分は成し遂げられるという強いイメージがあるのとないのでは記録に大きく差が出るというし。
In that case, the Nox Decalogue isn't really a set of arrogant and strict restrictions. You can also see it as a way to encourage readers who are trying to solve a mystery by telling them to give it their all since it's definitely solvable.
面白い解釈だ。しかし世の中の推理小説すべてが必ず実戒を守ってるわけでもないと聞いたぜ。そういう作品にぶち当たった時騙されたってことにはならないのかよ。
実戒もまた解釈の一つに過ぎず、全てのミステリーに適用できるものではありません。
I mean, I suppose, yeah.
父の原理主義者の方々は実戒を破った作品を異端と呼んで激しく糾弾される方もいらっしゃるようですが、
There's no end, I mean, of arguments like this in the mystery world. Was this or that famous detective novel really a fair mystery? In other words, one that followed Knox's Decalogue. The sort of argument is already an eternal theme of the mystery world. In fact, in mystery discussions, the arguments like these sometimes become even more heated than the discussion of the actual tricks.
そりゃ糾弾したくもなるだろうな。実戒に従い解けると信じて挑んで、実は解けるようにできてませんでしたってオチだったらさぞや悔しくて仕方ないだろうぜ。
That's right. When fighting with the Decalogue, there's just one thing you want guaranteed from the beginning. In other words, you want a guarantee that this detective novel will adhere to the Decalogue. If a work labels itself as an orthodox mystery, then you have nothing to worry about. However, the mystery genre contains many unorthodox subgenres within it. Does that mean trying to use reasoning in an orthodox detective novel is a complete waste of time?
それはそれで傲慢な気もするな。
はい。私も父の実戒をそのような傲慢の武器にされるのは非常に悲しいことです。
お前は実戒を武器にさっきベアトと戦ったわけだが、それはつまりこのベアトのゲームの世界がノックス実戒にのっとっているという証なのか？
I mean, yes. They have been using it. When I asked that, there was a strange silence. They've been using it when we were in the Court of Illusions. Virgilia, Dianor, and of course Beato all remained silent for a while. Almost as though my question had touched at the core of something.
それは私の口からは言えません。
どうして？
これはこの子の作ったゲームです。あなたと勝敗を決めるためのゲーム。この子はそれをミステリーとファンタジーの対決のように呼んでいました。しかし残念ながら本格推理とは一言も言っていません。すなわち実戒にのっとっているという保証はないということです。
しかし同時にミス・ベアトリーチェはあなたとの勝負のゲームだともおっしゃっています。
Miss Beatrice has said that this game is a contest between you and her.
それはすなわちあなたにも勝利する余地があるということ。
すなわち推理は可能だってそう言いたいのか？
この子に言わせればおそらく推理は可能となるのでしょう。しかしこの子とバトラ君が送り手と受け手の関係であるように二人は異なる存在です。ベアトにとって推理可能なつもりで出題したものがあなたにとっても推理可能なものなのかは別の問題です。
For example, let's say we propose a simple riddle that any Japanese person would know. However, if the person we're telling this riddle to is a foreigner with a Japanese-English dictionary in their hand, it might be impossible to solve. I mean, true, just like the witch's epitaph, right? Yeah, like if you don't know Japanese or the symbols for what kanji, right? I don't think you can solve that. In other words, it's possible to have a one-sided solvable problem, which might be easy for the questioner, but extremely difficult for the person trying to solve it. And then, if you know the answer already, then it would be much more easier to solve. By the way, do you know of the foreign riddle, why do dragons sleep all day? The answer is to battle the night. It's a riddle from the English realm, so it might be a little tough for a Japanese person. I guess if you ask a Japanese person, why does a dragon sleep all day?
だからこそ私はこの物語がバトラ君に 絶対に解けるものだと約束することができません。しかしこれだけは約束できます。赤き真実でそれを保証します。
なんだ。
ベアトはあなたに解いてほしいと願って。
Beato wanted you to solve it. I mean, isn't it obvious? Like, even in the last episode, it felt like it. Especially the words she said in the ending of the game. Was it the ending of the game or was it the ending of the tea party? But yeah, one of those. Pretty much saying that, try to stop me, etc. All that.
解けるようにこのゲームを、この物語の謎を生み出しました。
Yeah, pretty much she just wants Butler to find out who she is, remember all this stuff, I guess.
それだけは私が赤き真実で保証します。
It was the one guarantee that all those who tried to use reasoning desire.
その答えが我が父の実戒にのっとり導き出せるものかは分かりません。しかしバトラが悩み苦しみ推理の指針を求める時にもしも思い出したなら、我が実戒も試してみてください。再び挑む勇気と、ひょっとすると何か新しい発見を与えてくれるかもしれません。
ありがとうよ。心底行き詰まったらお前の戦い方も参考にしてみるぜ。っていいのかよ、敵に塩を送っちまって。
お気になされずに。手土産も持たずに訪れた茶会です。茶花の代わりとなったなら幸いです。それに私と再び相まみえたなら、そんな悠長なことを言っている暇はおそらくないでしょうから。
Nox's Decalogue and Virgilius Redroot.
ベアとは俺に解いてほしいと願って解けるようにこのゲームの謎を生み出した。
In other words, Beato wants me to be capable of solving it. Isn't that proof that reasoning is possible? Of course, that's from Beato's point of view. And it doesn't necessarily mean that reasoning is possible for me. Compared to before now, when I didn't even know whether reasoning was possible or not, that one line might give me a great deal of courage. At least it has the power to silence any negative thoughts about this all being useless.
推理できると先に相手に証明させなくては推理をしない。まるで奥手な若者の恋愛のようですね。
恋愛？
ええ。自分のことを愛してくれると相手が先に証明しない限り、自分も相手を愛したくない。でしょ？
Unless you have proof that the other person loves you first, you don't want to love them back, right? But, both boys and girls want to hear someone else say they love them first. That's their dream. If they are in love, they don't want to love the other person until they're sure this person loves them back. Yeah, people don't want to get rejected, so sometimes they just don't say anything. After all, there is nothing as painful as a one-sided love, and the scars of the heart left behind last a long time. Because they are afraid of that pain. They want proof that the other person loves them first more than anything else.
なるほど。推理小説における作家と読者の関係を面白く表現しています。
Yeah, maybe you could liken detective novels to that. Both writer and the reader first want the other party to say they'll solve it or it can be solved. until the writer is assured that the reader will certainly have to go or have a go at the riddle if they propose it. They don't want to write their story. The same goes for the readers. Until they are assured that they will certainly be able to solve the riddle if they try, they don't want to read the story. Because they don't want to write what they consider a masterpiece and be hurt when no one reads it. Because they don't want to reason about what they consider a masterpiece and be hurt when they realize it was all useless.
その理論によると、まさに奥手な小学生中学生の恋愛だな。気があるくせに打ち明ける勇気もなく、相手の告白を待ってもじもじしたまま何の進展もなく、ひと夏が終わる。
100% true, yeah.
いやいや、他の男とくっついちまうことだってあるぜ。
True, because girl is waiting for the boy to say something, boy doesn't say anything, moves on.
俺の初恋もそんな感じだったさ。
Along with this one-sided feelings, they can't express, they lament the passage of a summer that will never come again and the days of their youth end. What do you say? That's what my first love was like. The writer who couldn't or wouldn't write until he gained the support of readers goes for all eternity without releasing his maiden work. The reader who waited for the writer's rise to fame goes their whole life without knowing the joy of the mystery genre.
バトラ君、その卵が先か鶏が先かという奥手な恋愛はどの段階にまで進んだら相思相愛の関係になるのですか？
それは積み重ねだろうな。まず友達関係から始めてコミュニケーションを増やし、こいつはきっと俺のことが好きで俺もこいつのことが好きだと疑えなくなった段階を二人が共有できたところで、まあ多分自然と恋人関係に進めるんじゃないかと。唐突な告白で始まった関係は割と別れることも多いが、実は互いに告白したことがなく気づいたらずっと一緒にいたって連中の方が案外付き合いは長いってのが俺の今日までの印象だ。
つまり互いが相手を信じる信頼関係が生まれたらということですね。
意外だぜ。ミステリーってのは作家と読者のバトルだと思ってたんだが、実はそうじゃないのか。
ええ、互いが信頼し合った上でしか成立しない愛ある関係なのですよ。
There's something that cannot go on without the relation built on mutual trust. A relationship with love.
じゃあこいつと俺の関係も殺し合いじゃなくて愛ある関係だっていうのかよ。
意地悪をし合う小学生同士の関係程度にしか見えませんがね。
Virgilia joked at us in a middle-aged woman sort of way. Middle age. Still, though I'm not expecting friendship or a trusting relationship, I can accept her as a rival. Beato is fighting at full force, trying to make me acknowledge that she's a witch. So I'll respond to that and go all out, trying to deny that witches do exist.
ミス・ベアトが正面から全力であなたにぶつかっていると、どうしてあなたは言い切れるのですか？
見てりゃわかるだろ。
あなたに全力で正面からぶつかっていると彼女が赤き真実で宣言したわけではありません。なのにあなたはそれを疑わないわけですか？赤き真実以外は何も信じないとおっしゃったあなたがです。
バトラ君の言うところのコミュニケーションが増え、互いの関係が疑えなくなった段階というものに違いないですね。
Virgilia and Dianor giggled together. Look at Dianor's face. One guy, multiple women, and the topic is love. Wait a second, isn't this the worst possible formation for getting made fun of? When I tried to bring back a proper mood for a tea party in the rainy golden land, by clumsily searching for a more noble subject, Virgilia saw right through me and laughed. Even amidst this, Beato kept looking downwards with those grey eyes, staring into her black tea. Yeah, that's right. Virgilia and Dianor have given me so many hints, and yet I barely thought about it at all. By now, it's all too late. Let me think. Now that everything is too late and I've got an endless amount of time on my hands, let me think. One more time, let me think about the red fruit Virgilia gave me, and the crutch of the Decalogue that Dianor lent me. With the red fruit, Virgilia guaranteed that at the very least, Beato left enough room in this tale for me to achieve victory. That red fruit guarantee will once again give me the power to start my heart beating. And there's the crutch of the Decalogue which Dianor lent me. Dianor herself warned me in the beginning that the Decalogue isn't so almighty that it can solve all riddles. However, she said something about how it could be used as a method to solve take on riddles. Let me try it. There's no guarantee that this tale is a mystery or a fantasy. Let me believe that I'll definitely be able to solve it. That it is a solvable tale. A mystery, and let me take it on one last time. When I came to, I was suddenly in that strange tea room where I often argued furiously with Beato from across the table. Of course, Beato was nowhere to be found. It was just me, isolated and alone. That's okay. Even so, I won't stop thinking. Okay then. What were Nox's commandments again? I'm sure Dianor explained most of them when slamming me with them. Of course, even I recall them vaguely. What was the first one again? Oh.
謹んで申し上げる。
Gertrude.
ノックス第一条。犯人は物語当初の登場人物以外を禁ず。
It is forbidden for the culprit to be anyone not mentioned. Forbidden for the culprit to be anyone not mentioned in the early part of the story. When I muttered about what the first one was, as if answering my question, Dianor's subordinate appeared. Without bothering with the necessary hello, she told me nothing more or less than what I wanted to know.
そうだったな。第一条。犯人は物語の最初から登場している人物でなければならない。
Yeah, and for my theories, that person was already mentioned, even the name, I guess, right? So yeah, pretty much, I guess. Like, yeah. I could say the hidden culprit, but we can say Shannon, Sayo, right? They already been mentioned, so if that is correct, and it is them, it's that. I mean, it's them. Let's just say it's them. Yeah. In other words, the culprit must have already appeared as early as the first game. True, that's the most basic of basics in the mystery genre. I mean, Shannon, Canon, Sayo, Shannon, Canon, Beatrice. All those already have been shown. It's a classic assumption. A classic assumption? Have I really been keeping to that assumption? With each new game, the number of people in this tale keeps increasing. That violates that closed circle rule. By that point, everything gets screwed up. Did I give up on the inside? Thinking that the true culprit or the mastermind must have not shown up yet, and that reasoning was therefore useless. if I read this tale as a fantasy, new characters keep showing up. To the point where even having demon kings or gods or creators appear wouldn't be strange at all. Even if the true mastermind first appears in one of the last episodes, I'd have to accept it. However, if I read it as a mystery and stick with that conviction, then there's no need to worry all about anyone who shows up later. Yep, because Noxus First clearly states that it's impossible for the culprit to be anyone who appears later on in the story. Of course, there's also what both Dianor and Virgilia said. There's no guarantee that this tale follows the rules of the Decalogue. So, of course, I can't deny the possibility that the culprit first appeared in the second game or later. However, this is one way of thinking. This time, I'll forget about the Devil's Proof completely and try to borrow the power of the Decalogue in my thinking. After all, I've already said myself that I won't be able to reach the truth without a multi-angled outlook.
18人の中の誰かだってことになる。19人目の幻想なんて初めから必要ない。
Even the first of Nox's commandments denies the existence of an unknown person known as the Witch from the very start. If I had followed that in the truest sense, I might have not suffered so miserably in the second game.
ノックスの第2
謹んで申し上げたてまつる。ノックス第2条。探偵方法に超自然能力の使用を禁ず。
Okay, this was used against Butler when he used Virgilia's red fruit, right? Remember that? The Honor's other subordinate appeared without a sound and gave me an answer to my question. That's right. A detective can go around using magic.
そしてこれがフェアな戦いであるならば、探偵と同様に犯人もまた魔法を使ってはならないということだよな。
謹んで申し上げる。解釈は自由と知りたまえ。
だよな。ああ。俺の自由に解釈させてもらうぜ。
If this game is a battle between me and Beato, then because this tale is solvable, no elements will appear that make it impossible to solve. In other words, things like magic mustn't appear. When they do appear, I shouldn't suspect that the mystery element is breaking down. But I should instead question why it was shown and suspect the witnesses and observers. When they do appear, I shouldn't suspect that the mystery element is breaking down, but I should instead question why it was shown and suspect the witnesses and observers. So maybe we could say something like the golden butterflies appearing whenever we see scenes, there's some meaning to it. Maybe. When I look at it like this. That's right, that was Beato's greatest weapon in the second game. Depictions of magic which couldn't exist in mystery. By showing me that, she forced me to think that this tale wasn't a mystery. And therefore, that reasoning was impossible, so I surrendered. However, if I had believed unshakably that it was a mystery, it would have been completely obvious without the witnesses who claimed to have seen magic. Also, at the end of the first game, it was revealed that this tale was passed on to the people in the future by that message bottle. Yeah, and then it was written by Maria, right? But the handwriting is from the culprit. Someone had written about this crime, this tale. In other words, this entire tale is a world that includes the personal opinions of an observer. So yeah, I think him saying this enforces another of my theories that the games we've been playing are the scenarios that said culprit has written, right, in the message bottle. Remember that? When they said that same 2 days, but the insides were different, right? It starts and it ends in the same way, but the middle is different. namely the person who wrote that message in a bottle. In other words, the observer isn't God, it's a human. Therefore, there's no guarantee that this description is truly impartial. By the end of the first game, it was already clear that we've broken the constant premise of the mystery genre, that the story itself must be seen through the eyes of God. For that reason, it's possible to doubt even the observer as well as the witnesses. If I could have doubted this much, then no matter how many seemingly unsolvable displays of magic appeared, I wouldn't have to blindly accept them and give up. However, that begs the question. Is it even possible to solve a tale written by an observer who isn't impartial? If I get obsessed with this, all my reasoning will end here. However, I had to believe the Beato was trying to fight me through this tale. Because it's a fight, then means I've been given a chance of winning. By giving me that, doesn't that mean that reasoning is possible? This sport is tough. Unless I believe that the cruel witch took on the risk of losing to try and have a fair fight with me, I can't get past this part. Just like Virgilia said, it's just like love. If I can't believe that Beato is fighting me head on with everything she's got, I won't be able to reason any further than this. Sure, I'll acknowledge it. Unless we acknowledge that we love each other, we won't be able to get any further. When Virgilia ran out of patience with the two of us, shy and incapable as we were of acknowledging that out loud, she gave me that red fruit instead. That was the red fruit saying Beato wanted me to solve the riddles of this game, so she created them to be solvable. What the hell? It's like Sato-san in Class A says he likes you. Like hearing a love confession via a friend. True. I really am pitiful. Reasoning is love. If you don't love each other, the reasoning won't start. In that case, how can we say that we love each other? If you think you can solve it, just you try. You're incompetent, like hell you can solve it. Yeah, according to George Aniki, people like that are called a chundora. Chundora? The Brillo Witch is finally starting to look a little bit cute. If I meet her again, I want to try saying, "You're such a chundora." A chundora. If I meet her again somewhere,
他の実会も教えてくれ。純不動でいいぜ。使えそうなやつを頼む。
謹んで申し上げる。ノックス第8条。提示されない手がかりでの解決を禁ず。
謹んで申し上げる。ノックス第6条。探偵方法に偶然と第6巻の使用を禁ず。
Okay, accident or intuition? It must not be solved with the clues that aren't presented. And it must not be solved by relying on accident or coincidence. If this tale is made to be solvable, we can read this the opposite way. In other words, clues must be prepared so that the case can be solved. And it has to be made in a way that it can be solved without relying on coincidence. If I can believe that Beato is challenging me to a fair game where reasoning is possible, then I can be sure of that. In other words, Beato has already left me clues, hints, and messages in this tale. It isn't from the Decalogue, but Erica or someone said this. There are 3 riddles to be exposed in a mystery. One is who done it, who is the culprit, one is how done it, how did they commit the crime, and one is why done it. Why did they commit the crime? All of this means that the clues related to these 3 riddles are already present inside this tale. Who done it? Who is the culprit? How did they commit the crime? I actually want to try and give a theory there, but nah. No, strictly speaking, it's like this. Because she wanted me to solve these 3 riddles Beato scattered hints about. Though whether I'm capable of catching those or not is another matter. Even if you think the riddle is you propose easy, it might be difficult for the person trying to solve it. In that case, it's only natural that there will be a difference in how difficult each person finds it. Therefore, as Beata goes through each successive game, she watches me closely and tweaks the game as needed to get a good arrangement. When Beata realized that I'd completely surrendered in the second game because it was way too hard, she was secretly worried. If I surrendered and lost the will to fight, the game would no longer remain on even footing. Therefore, in order to make me regain my will to fight, from the third game onward, she set things up in a way that made it easier for me. I mean, I guess, right? Remember in the third game? She was nice to Butler, and then she betrayed him in the end, giving me tips on how to fight and a few hints. Virgilia and Ronove obviously appeared so that they could help me. I mean, yes, both of these guys are really helpful. Also, though we still had the usual crazy magic shows, she gave me the metaphor of the Braun Tube trial as well as the tips on how to fight back. I finally understood how to fight, and most likely at the end of the fourth game, Beato managed to have an all-out showdown with me that she had probably wanted. Then Beato acknowledged that my abilities had become full-fledged and entrusted me with her heart. Entrusted me with explaining this tale, didn't she? In that case, it was really dumb of me to boycott most of the fifth game. Just because I was so disgusted with those two witches. Yeah, Butler wasn't really involved this much in this game. Only here, by the end. It doesn't matter who the game master is. All I need is to search for the truth in Beato's game. On the contrary, I should probably thank those two witches just a little for continuing the game in Beato's place, now that she's gone and left everything to me. Of course, I doubt those evil witches were trying to do anything of the sort. Culprit, crime, motive. The answers to those three ultimate riddles and the hints must be scattered throughout the previously shown tales. It's probably a very faint light, like trying to find the beads that had fallen onto a sandy beach. They're definitely there. However, they're so faint that unless I believe strongly, there's no way I'll be able to find them.
金家謹んで申し上げる。
なんだ。
物語を遡りたまえ。今の汝には真実のか弱き光を見逃さぬ目が与えられていると知れ。
今こそ物。
推理可能とは信頼関係の先にあるものと知りたてまつれ。
ああ、知ってるぜ。いや、今ようやく気づいたかもしれない。
It's something that's been repeated over and over again throughout the tale. Persistently so.
愛がなければ真実は見えない。
Without love, the truth cannot be seen. Slowly, the tea room dissolved into darkness. Then, as though I was slowly sinking into a pitch black sea, I passed through the crevice of the long journey I'd taken with Beato, and kept on falling and falling. It was a bizarre experience, like crossing over the boundary of sleep while still conscious. The several tales become faint bubbles. No, they were small shining fragments, and were scattered like stars amidst a pitch black sky. I kept sinking on and on into that sea. Dude, I want to see that. What? Okay. I couldn't read it, it's so fast. The tales up until now, one after another. Virgilius guided Dante to Mount Purgatory and brought him to the feet of the Eternal Lady who waited at the top, Beatrice. Therefore, the innermost depths lay not at the bottom, but at the peak of Mount Purgatory. The Eternal Lady had been waiting there for Dante the whole time. And then I knew. I finally reached the truth. To the depths, no. To the peak of Mount Purgatory. Idiot. You really are an idiot. Okay, so let's take a break here as Butler is awaking from his sleep of death. So what is this? Got a new music now, but honestly the conversation earlier in the Golden Land was really good. I'm not gonna lie, I really did enjoy that. Even if it's very very chill, it was so good for some reason. I like how these answer arcs work, that it's not really telling you fully. For example, like in Higurashi, we were talking about it last time, right? Like in the second episode or second chapter of Higurashi, and then was the question arc, and then when we did the fifth episode or the fifth chapter of Higurashi, is literally the answer arc for that. It literally was telling you how it works, right? Or how it happened. But for this one, it's much more, they're giving you tools now. Instead of giving you the full answer, they're giving you tools to solve it, and it's nice. It's really good, as it makes it, I guess, much more engaging, I suppose, right? Compared when they just give you the answer. I mean, that's fun as well. Honestly, I would prefer that, but I think it makes it much more fun if it's like this, that they just give you the tools and then you can solve it, right? Okay, so let's see what happens next time. Butler is awakening. Well, let's see what happens then. Hopefully it's something good, right? So we're gonna continue this and do more of Umineko When They Cry, episode 5 in the next one. So I'll just see you then, guys. Bye bye.